Hey, it's show and tell. Aluminum. It's in the news, and it should be, but it's in the news for all the wrong reasons. Should be in the news because it's a wonderful metal. But the reason that we're hearing so much about it these days is because of President Trump's economic terrorism. He is putting tariffs on Canadian aluminum, and we export a lot of aluminum to the US. In fact, we are the world's fourth largest producer of aluminum, behind China, India, and Russia. Well, first, a little bit about aluminum production. The raw material is bauxite. Bauxite is an impure form of aluminum oxide, and the reason that it is brown like this is because it is contaminated with iron. That's how it's mined. It has to be purified, and when it's purified, it is purified into alumina. And that's just aluminum oxide. And aluminum oxide is treated with electricity. It's first dissolved in cryolite, and the electricity is passed through it, and aluminum metal can be isolated. And the reason that we are such a great producer of aluminum is because we have hydropower. It takes a lot of electricity to produce aluminum. And we need aluminum. Aluminum is used in airplanes, it's used in cars because it doesn't tarnish, it doesn't rust, it's extremely light, it is just a great metal. Well, it was first isolated way back in 1825 by Hans Christian Ørsted, a Danish scientist, and it was a very valuable commodity because it could not be produced on a large scale. In fact, when Napoleon III had some big banquets, he would basically use cutlery made of gold, except for his really exalted guests who would get cutlery made of aluminum. It was so prized. Until 1886 or so, when Charles Martin Hall and Paul Héroux independently came up with a process of making aluminum from aluminum oxide. And today, of course, it is very widely produced. As early as Jules Verne's writings and From the Earth to the Moon, aluminum was popular. He recognized the value of aluminum in his capsule that was shot at the moon, that he needed something that was light. The first statue ever made of aluminum was that of Eros in the late 1800s, standing on top of a pedestal in Piccadilly in London. And the top of the Washington Monument, constructed in the late 1800s, is made of aluminum. In fact, it was the largest cast piece of aluminum made at that time. And because it is a good conductor of electricity, it also acts as a lightning rod. So we use aluminum all over the place. And we don't have any bauxite here in Canada. We import it. We import it from Brazil, and we process it into aluminum that we sell mostly to the U.S. But now with this tariff, of course, the Americans are not going to want to buy Canadian aluminum. They don't have enough of their own, so they'll have to buy from elsewhere, or, of course, crank up their own industry, which is what Trump is hoping, but that is not going to happen so easily. So we are in the midst of this tariff war. It's unfortunate that aluminum is caught up in it, and we'll just have to see what happens. But as I told you, aluminum should be in the news because it is so valuable. It's great in packaging. We use it all over the place. It can be recycled. That's why these cans that we drink from or have our food in are great, because don't react with the contents, and ultimately all aluminum can be recycled. So we'll see what happens. Unfortunately, in Canada, we are sort of the mouse on top of the elephant. But, sometimes the mouse can scare that elephant. So we'll just see what happens to the whole aluminum story. And oops, we'll just have to wait and see. That for today is our show and tell.